Okay, hello, welcome back. I feel like I have to tell this story because it keeps popping into my mind, and it's a good demonstration in one aspect of this dimension of healing that we seem to be ignoring, that is going to get us out of our collective quagmire. And, it's something we don't want to take a look at, and that's why we need to take a look at it. So, I'm going to tell you a story about my mom. When I had my first child, I was at home with her, little newborn baby. My parents came to see me, and during the time when they came, my mom was having a psychotic break. And this was not actually the first time something like this had happened. She'd been sick for a long time, on and off, and really, actually, to me, I could see a lot more going on before this was outwardly expressed. But, we got to keep that shit down. Got to suppress it. Everything looks like it's going good on the outside. Make sure the kid doesn't expose too much of these things. So I really was learning in the midst of that how to just not speak of the things that I see. But anyway, here I am with my newborn baby. My dad's out on the porch. He is sobbing because my mom is just having a really hard time. And I'm not really thinking about what it's like for them, because I'm thinking about what it's like for me. I'm thinking, oh my God, I wanted to have my parents come and be with me, but they're not exactly helping me. And not knowing how to deal with what was going on, and plus also everything with the baby was new to me, and it was an intense time, as I'm sure you can imagine. But what came up when my mom was in the state that she was in, she was disturbed. The break was triggered by the fact that I had this baby, and she was afraid that I wouldn't be able to keep her safe, and she was trying to express to me that I needed to put a red hat on her to keep her safe, but also she didn't really feel like no matter what we did, red hat or no red hat, we were going to be able to keep her safe. Excuse me, I'm trying to get a little comfortable here. And so I know that my mom had a very difficult childhood, and I know that she was harmed. And there's aspects to that which I'll save for another time. But we look at situations that people have been in, the trauma they experienced, and we say to ourselves, oh, it's the trauma they experienced that is the reason why this is happening or that is happening. But there is another aspect to it. What she was trying to do at that time, not just keep my child safe, but also she had a confession to make. And it's my feeling that it was this confession that was creating so much disturbance for her. This confession and maybe many others. She told us about a time when she was babysitting for other people's children, and she did something that she shouldn't have done, that caused harm to those children, or potentially caused harm to those children, and they never let her babysit again. And she was pretty upset about it, and also I feel like in that time I missed a very important moment where deep healing could have occurred. Because if I had been there for her as a daughter in that moment, and I had just allowed this expression to occur, and I had received it fully, in full presence, and still moved forward as a daughter who loves her mother and able to, hold that sense of, it's not my job to forgive anybody, but that sense of love and forgiveness through her being able to say what she needed to say, I think some deep healing would have occurred for her. But I was in my own thing, and I was not present to it at all. And I wish I could go back in time and maybe change that, but that's not the point. The point that I'm trying to make in this story is that the healing comes from recognizing that, yes, we experience trauma from the things that are done to us, but because of the things that are done to us, we do things to others that are harmful. And often we are fully conscious and aware of what we're doing. And we carry that with us. So nobody's exempt from this. Obviously we've all done things that have hurt other people. And because we don't acknowledge that, it doesn't even have to be publicly acknowledged. It has to be acknowledged in us, simply by seeing it and saying, oh, I am a person that is capable of doing things that are harmful to others, that has done things that are harmful to others, and just kind of going through that process of seeing it, understanding it, recognizing and feeling the pain that we might have caused, and beyond that, what's there for us that we don't see is that though we may think we will never be forgiven, or the forgiveness is not there for us, the love is always there for us, even if we can't find it. It's there, it's within us, and because it is, the forgiveness is built into that. If the forgiveness wasn't there, there would be no love, and the love is for everyone. It's not just for the people who do good versus the people who do bad, because there are no people who do good. It's something I talk about in my book. It's a hard thing to grasp, I understand, but it is that attempting to be the good person that allows us to cause harm and not recognize what's happening or what we're doing. So this has some dimensionality to it, and I'm coming at it from different aspects, and I just hope that this story is helpful in understanding, the potential healing power of what I would call the confession, and we'll talk more about that sort of concept of confession. But I felt drawn to share this story, and it's sort of a segue into where I'm going with it. And just so you know, if you're up for bravely meeting this thought or idea, the rewards you can't even imagine. Like, you cannot even imagine how much healing will happen for you, and how quickly it will happen, and how transformative it would be for you to dive into this. So it's something I want to help you with, and I don't want this to get too long, so I'm going to stop here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing anything you want to share in the comments. And I look forward to our next tete-a-tete.